very welcome along, and we are here in the RDS Simmons Court in Dublin, where we are celebrating and enjoying the incredible buzz here throughout the venue, and that is all, of course, for WorldSkills Ireland 2023. Now, later on today's show, we're going to be bringing you along and throughout the venue and meeting some of the exhibitors that are here, showcasing their career opportunities and their skills as part of WorldSkills, and also we'll be joining a couple of people who will be able to give you guidance on all of those journeys, as we have two guidance counsellors from what I'm told is Ireland's biggest secondary school. Now that brings us nicely, neatly and tidily along to our first guest who joins us here in the studio, the President of ASTI, Geraldine O'Brien. How are you, Geraldine?
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, first of all. So remind me and the others who might not be so great with all these acronyms of what the ASTI is.
It's the Association of Secondary Teachers Ireland. So we're the association that represents secondary teachers, second level teachers in Ireland. We have a sister organisation, the TUI, who also represents second level teachers, but they have a third level component as well, as you know.
Brilliant. Okay, so and that is the outfit that you have today. It's adorned with the chain. Is that part of being the president? Is that what you get?
You only get to wear this on rare occasions.
So you're being mindful of it. What's actually on each one of those?
So when I was asked to do this interview, I said I better wear the chain.
Because again, rare opportunities, rare occasions, you have to make the most.
It's the names of the past presidents who have served as president of the ASTI, going back over the years.
Brilliant.
Since its foundation.
And how mindful are you of it? I mean, it's obviously kept somewhere safe at all times.
Well, it's kept in a safe when it's not been...
A safe is a safe place, yeah, by name and definition.
And I had to retrieve the key to go to the accounts section in the office to retrieve the chain from the safe before I came out here.
There you go. So a number of different steps that you have to get to.
There's a protocol for the chain.
So look, we're honoured to have your presence, but also the chain. I mean, honestly, that's a real honour and a tip of the cap. So thank you for that. Listen, President of the ASTI, obviously, as secondary schools, you're always looking out for not only while your students are in your care, let's say, of education in those years, but also what awaits for them the other side of those secondary school years. So an event like this must give you a huge amount of scope, but also hope for the future.
Oh, it gives enormous hope for the future. Like, students do go to student fairs run by the universities, and they come here to WorldSkills. But when they read a blurb in a college brochure, it's not the same experience. They come here, they can observe the various workshops, and not only that, they can actually participate. They can have the tactile experience of whether it's engineering, whether it's cabinet building, whether it's culinary skills. They can actually have an experience, the tactile experience of working in that field. So that must be hugely beneficial to students before they make their minds up as to what career path, what career option they would like to follow post Leaving Cert. And while college is there, and colleges are great, college isn't for every student. And you know, we really need to educate too the mammies and daddies who very often put pressure on students that you must go to college, as in going to a university. But now there are many career pathways for students, and an opportunity like this is invaluable. They can come, as I said, they can observe the workshops, they can have the tactile experience by doing the craft themselves, and then they make an informed decision.
Yeah. And I suppose schooling and teaching, it has begun to evolve and change, and has rapidly changed in the last 5 years. A lot of that due to the pandemic, and then the restructuring of junior cert cycle and leaving cert cycle. And I suppose it's become a lot more friendly to the non-academic student, whereas it used to be the kings and queens of secondary school would have been the A students, and it would suit them down to the ground, and maybe others might not have enjoyed their time as much, whereas now there does seem to be that sense that no, the school is for everybody to learn and to be strengthened in whatever they enjoy and what they want to get the other side of school.
Well, very often the traditional university experience was a completely academic experience for the students. They studied, they researched, they did projects, but it was all reading or writing or completing a written assignment. That is not for all students. Some students love they're creative with their hands, they love the tactile experience and the mixture of learning from the textbook, as I'll call it, and having the practical experience, having the chance to engage with the skills, practice the skills. That's invaluable for them.
Yeah.
And it offers up much more pathways now for students, you know. And maybe they might go and do 1 year and they may not like, they've chosen something in college and they may not like what they're pursuing and they feel they're a failure, but it was that they hadn't the right choice made at the start. Whereas now, something like this, they can come, they can experience it, and they can make much more informed decisions.
Yes, and that's a good point because the CAO, I mean, it's something that a lot of households, this will be a huge talking point and a worry point for them over the next few years as they look towards, you know, finishing that secondary school cycle. And I suppose when you're out of that journey, you don't think about the CAO form, but it's a real daunting task to be seeing all of these courses in all these different parts of the country and all these different career opportunities. Whereas, as you say, coming to an event like this, you actually get to see what these places might look like, how they would work and how they would suit you. So really a key thing for students and teachers to be doing is to be getting their eyes and ears at these events.
Well, the CAO is really a cruel adjudicator of students. It really is. It's a cruel adjudicator. So, in fairness to Minister Harris, he has opened up a number of different pathways for students through the further education colleges, through the apprenticeships. And now students have options, so they can choose, is it college, is it a further education college, or is it coming to do an apprenticeship and get the experience from WorldSkills before they actually embark on the apprenticeship is invaluable.
Yeah. Well, Geraldine, it's been a pleasure catching up with you. Again, thank you for bringing you and your chain along to visit us here at WorldSkills Ireland. Do enjoy it and make sure you spread the word, and we hope to have more teachers and students here again next year.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That is Geraldine there, and we are going to continue our busy time here at the RDS in Simmons Court in Dublin as we will revisit one of the other stalls that we managed to catch up with earlier today. There is no more serious business than baking a cake. Isn't that right, Sheila?
That's right, that's right. Cake is business.
And look, people
business.
look at me, they say he's never baked a day in his life. Well, lockdown happened and Baking with Brendan was a feature on my radio show with Radio Kerry. So can you remind me exactly what I baked this cake with earlier? Because I kind of forget.
Eggs, butter, sugar.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Ice and sugar, etc.
And I was very creative in that each panel is actually representative of a course in WorldSkills.
Well, actually, some of the panels are representative of sort of multiple courses.
Yes,
so
that's right.
Kind of little bits of. Did you forget about that?
You see, I've been so busy interviewing so many people, baking so many cakes on the side, and
so the panels were sort of there's over 70 apprenticeships.
Yeah.
Countrywide.
Wow.
So that was a big ask. That would be a big cake.
Big
so,
cake, yeah.
What we tried to do is sort of bring the panels in to represent a few different apprenticeships in the one panel.
Brilliant.
So,
now, this has been a great fun stall or stand or exhibit because people are getting to partake in the cake and actually design their own little biscuit here. So people trying their hand at, what do you call it? I would call it funneling.
Yeah,
icing.
piping.
Piping.
They're
There we go.
Yeah. So it's a royal icing on sugar cookies, and the students are literally queuing up all day to make their cookie and be part of the build a cake. And then when they have their cookie all built, we dust it in glitter, and we
Dust it in glitter. Yeah, it's amazing altogether. So we'll have to wrap up the interview with that if this interview meets your standards.
We have to finish this cake.
Okay. Will I have a go at it? Is there icing there? Will I have a go at piping?
Absolutely.
Perfect. And of course, if I was to eat a pie beforehand, I would be the Pied
That's
Piper.
No, I see.
Here we go, yellow, for my club, Dr. Crokes. So this is actually where we're going to tell you a little bit about the course that's happening here. So your
Just what
MSL
you did on that
ETB.
cake, just repeat.
Yeah, like I did last night and early this
do that
morning.
all over again.
So MSL ETB, that's Mayo Sligo Leitrim.
Mayo,
ETB.
Sligo, Leitrim, ETB. Yeah.
And so what
yeah.
courses are there and what course are you involved in?
I am
It's actually
involved
quite
in
difficult, isn't
It is, yeah. You have to put pressure on from here and direct it then onto the cookie, okay?
My God, right.
Yeah.
Oh, there
you
we go.
There you go.
And I'll
So
do
we
the
are-
edge of it.
We are MSL ETB, so it's Mayo Sligo Leitrim ETB.
Yeah.
And I'm a tutor for the Commie Chef apprenticeship in Sligo end of
Wonderful.
the MSL ETB.
And so it must be great to have these people come through the doors and starting out their journey
Oh, it's
on
fantastic.
this career.
Fantastic. At the minute, we have 3 different groups of Commie Chefs at
Yeah.
3 different levels of their training.
Brilliant.
So we've one almost at the end of their training, we've one just started, and then we've one bang on in the middle.
Okay.
So they've all been very much involved in the creation of this cake with
Yeah.
their
The cat's out of the bag. I didn't bake that cake, okay?
Sorry, I forgot about that.
I think, strangely enough, I would give myself that exact
You
number
need
out
to
of
turn
10 in
on,
terms of my
folks.
effort.
We want the glitter flitter.
Please, yeah, we'll try and make something out of a pig's ear here now. Oh, look at that. Incredible. Round of applause. Thank you.
I'm against the
Eventually.
stick.
Well, I think I've earned a well-deserved break and a holiday and a jet away, but unfortunately, this is just part of another interview, as I should be joined by my next guest. On you come, Dave.
Thank you very much, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me aboard this part of a plane, which
Yes,
is
a Boeing 737.
right and
Yeah.
was actually in use once upon a time.
It was indeed, yeah.
So how did you get your hands on this?
Believe it or not, one of our customers in Shannon had to part out the aircraft, and we asked him for the training school, can we get a section of it? And he said, definitely, yeah.
Okay, so and this is the idea of it, is that you have obviously what we're familiar with as
On this side, yeah.
passengers. You've got your, the paneling and windows and still everything there. But then over there you have the
What it looks
more
like.
important parts, the innards of the plane, the workings,
Exactly.
the wires, and everything engineering-wise. So
Exactly, yeah.
this is what you're teaching in the school.
Yeah, so what we're here promoting today really is 2 routes to get into aircraft maintenance. One is through an apprenticeship, and the second is through a traineeship. And the apprenticeship is a 4-year model, and the traineeship is a 2-year model. So it suits certain people, maybe don't want to commit to a 4-year program, and they can do a 2-year one, and they still get a career in aircraft maintenance in 2 years from start to finish.
Okay, so with the apprenticeship, you could start from scratch.
Yeah.
The traineeship, do you have to have some sort of a background?
No,
in...
the entry requirements are the same for both the apprenticeship and the traineeship. You have to have generally passed your leaving certs. We'll test you.
Okay.
We'll put you to an aptitude test program, practical assessments, interviews, and that. Exactly the same as the apprenticeship.
Right, and so you're based in Shannon.
Yeah, so AAG, Atlantic Aviation Group, are based in Shannon Airport. But we have a big training academy there, so we do training in Shannon, and we also run the traineeship for the City of Dublin Education and Training Board, as well as the Limerick and Clare Education and Training Board, both in Shannon and in Dublin.
Okay, wow. So this, I'm guessing, is a very, very popular, high in demand course. I mean, between the apprenticeship, traineeship, and also the career opportunities that are on the other side of that. It must be really, really popular.
It's huge. Before COVID, there was a massive demand for people to get involved in aircraft maintenance. COVID threw a spanner in the works, obviously, for everyone. But since we have recovered from COVID, the requirement for getting people to come into aircraft maintenance as a career has jumped hugely. And
Yeah.
in fact, we can't meet the demand still in Ireland. So I tell new trainees that come into the system, I say, it's a job for you to lose. That's how secure it will be if you get onto an aircraft maintenance apprenticeship or a traineeship and get a career in aircraft maintenance. We just can't get enough people. We want the right people, obviously, and once you get in, the career options are huge. It's not just going to be working on aircraft the rest of your days. It can be, you can get more qualified in it, but you can branch off into technical services, you can go into management, you can go into training, engineering, planning, aircraft leasing, continuous works management. So the opportunities are huge. And the cool thing about it is that companies like AAG will sponsor an employee to go back to college and get maybe a 3rd level qualification that is suited to the career they're actually in or want to progress further in that industry. That's the cool thing about aviation.
Brilliant. And that whole combination of education, employment, and that balance continuing as you go down the line, it's a
completely.
brilliant thing to actually find in your career, isn't it?
Oh, it's just, aviation is an addictive industry. And like, I'm in it over 30 years. I didn't think I'd be here this long, but that's what it is. And you generally tend to find that if people come into our industry, they don't tend to leave it. They move around in it, but they stay in it. That's how addictive aviation is. And if you want to travel, yeah, it's the place to go. If you want to see technologies constantly changing, like you see this 737 we have here, it's made out of aluminium. I have a section behind me here on the wall, which is from the 787, and it's composite, where this aluminium fuselage is being replaced by a composite structure. And that's the way the technology is moving along the whole time. You have fly-by-wire, and now you have fly-by-light. That's the way it's going. So anyone who comes into our industry are going to constantly learn until the day they leave the industry or retire.
Well, you know where to find us. It's in Shannon, but also you're here
In
today,
Finglas,
tomorrow,
yeah.
and once you have liftoff, you're going to keep on flying, I reckon. The busyness continues here in the RDS Simmons Court. As you can hear the atmosphere behind, there are hundreds, if not pushing a couple of thousand students here throughout the venue, discovering all about perhaps their next future career once they leave school. And in order to choose that, obviously they can visit the stalls throughout the venue, but also they need some guidance. And we are joined by two guidance counsellors from Ireland's biggest school, which I did not know was in County Wexford, in Gorey. So tell us exactly which school you're both from.
We're from Gorey Community School in North Wexford. So we came up this morning with 4 buses, 200 students. We're all attending here this morning and then going over to higher offices in the afternoon. We're delighted to be here in WorldSkills Ireland.
Yeah, and you look like you're having a great time. So we have 18, we have Davna. Davna, you were here last year with
Yes.
a smaller group of students, and
Yeah.
then you said, this was brilliant.
Absolutely.
Let's bring more next
Yeah.
time.
Last year we brought 15 LCA students, and that was followed by a trip from TWIS as well. And the feedback was just amazing. The students loved the visual, the interactiveness, seeing the apprenticeships, in stands, watching them. And so we brought back 200 students this year, 200 sixth years. And we're also bringing our two TYs on Friday, so that'll be another 200 as well,
Wow.
which is great.
You really upped the ante, didn't you? I mean,
Absolutely.
15 last year, 400 in total this year?
Yeah.
Oh my God, fair play.
That's how impressive it
What
is.
is it then as guidance counsellors? I guess you must be really encouraged by events and days like this, because there are so many opportunities and avenues that you can then direct your students towards.
Yeah, absolutely. So we would have, as I said, over 200 sixth-year students, and they're interested in a variety of careers, college courses, PLCs and so on. But the apprentice sector is really growing. And for some students, college is not right for them. They want to earn as they learn. They don't like the idea of committing to a 2, 3 or 4 year degree. So this is absolutely perfect. There's new apprentices coming on, but even today we saw there the prosthetics and film and TV artistry from WWETB. We were holding a prosthetic head that took 3 weeks to make. It's just phenomenal and it's so interactive. We met one of our past pupils working for BYM, which is the new Chinese electric vehicles, Gavin Cousins, and it's great to see him here representing his company.
Yeah, and Davna, what is it about this venue and this entire showcase that has you most excited as a guidance counsellor?
I suppose in our classes we talk about all of the different options for students. As Aideen said, there's the college option, but there's so many other options as well. And here in the RDS in Simmons Court, you can see the apprenticeships in action. You can see the beauticians, you can see the carpenters, the plumbers, the painters. You can see apprenticeships that you didn't even know existed. So they can see them live in action, and they can visualize themselves possibly doing that apprenticeship and maybe getting into that job in the future.
Yeah, and again, going back to guidance counselling and how big the school is, what do you see out of the students these days? Is there any sort of a change in what they want to get out of their careers, or a change in direction in the young people of Ireland? What is it that they're looking for?
What I would say to students is to study or follow the path that they like, whatever that is. and the career will follow. So rather than years and years ago, you do a certain degree or follow a certain path, and that was your life set out. Now students are far more likely to change careers more than once, twice, several times in their lifetime. So if they follow their passion, whatever that is, and I think something like today here at WorldSkills Ireland, their eyes are being opened. There are employers here, so our students can connect with different engineering companies, for example, and look at following an apprenticeship with them next year, which is just amazing. And because we're North Wexford, we're not far from Dublin, we're very accessible, great transport. So our students are really lucky to be here today. Yeah.
And also that whole aspect of, you know, the traditional route that would have been there of, if you're not sure, do art, and you can figure out after that. Whereas now there seems to be a lot more of planning and setting down the train tracks in first year of school, rather than saying, oh, you're in sixth year, now what do you want to do? There seems to be that sort of forward thinking from day one.
Yeah, definitely. We try and instill it at an early age, you know, for our students to look at all the different options that are out there. And we really are trying to drive the apprenticeship option forward, because college is fantastic and it's an amazing opportunity, but it's not for everyone, and there is a dropout rate in colleges. Some students are just ready, they're practical, they're hands-on, and they want to just get stuck into a trade straight away. And as Aideen said, earn and learn, and it's just a fantastic option for lots and lots of students.
Yeah, and there's that early access as well with TY, transition year, now being something that's really functional and focused, whereas back in the day it was considered, maybe rightly so, a bit of a DOS, and you get to go out and about every now and then, whereas now there's really functional and focused avenues that you can try this, that, the other thing. So again, must be really encouraging for you.
It's fantastic, and as Davin said, our transition years are coming on Friday. They have career guidance every week in school. They will attend our College Information Day in November. So we would be very much about getting the transition years on the path, and most students do transition year now, so that's fantastic for them as well.
And in addition, transition years have work experience. They have 2 blocks in the year. So seeing the WorldSkills Ireland today opens up their eyes that maybe they can connect with their local tradesman, their carpenter, their plumber, and maybe get some work experience to see if that's the path that they want to continue in.
Yeah, well, the event has been incredibly popular this year. That's a cap it at 30,000 over the 3 days.
Yeah,
so
amazing.
if there's a teacher that's looking at this online and saying, oh, next year, will I, won't I? What would you say to them down the lens of camera 2 if you want to do that and sell it to them for next year?
Definitely, bring your students to WorldSkills Ireland. Transition years and 6th years, especially if you can't bring 5th years, but there are younger students here too. It's never too early to start thinking about what you want to do, and to get that hands-on experience that you get here today. They're wearing VR headsets, they're in the middle of different places in their head. It's just fantastic. I would highly recommend it.
WorldSkills Ireland is amazing. I would say come, look around, explore, and you won't regret it.
Great. Well, due to your on-screen performance there, I'm out of a job for the rest of the event over the next few days, so that really backfired on me. But I did manage to catch up with another very exciting stall that you will not believe your eyes when you see it. And of course, that's exactly what they do. It's special effects, visual effects, and it's all done here in Ireland, more specifically in Limerick. So let's catch up with that from earlier today. And here we are at the, well, it's the special effects stall is what I've been calling it. We're joined by Mark. Very nice to meet you, sir. How are you? Oh, good go.
Yeah. So
I didn't cop that. I should always be alert when I'm
be
with
aware,
you.
especially around here. Yeah, no, these are prosthetic hands, so we make them for the film industry.
They are, that is freakishly real.
Yeah, so it's cast from a real hand. So we take a live cast, or we'll 3D scan it, and then we start to produce it in silicon. Then after, you know, it takes about a week or a week and a half usually.
Oh my God. And then you have Peg Sayers joining us as well.
Yeah, it's actually Queen Elizabeth, and we just changed out her hair just to make her 2. Yeah, but she's not feeling the best today herself. She's just
there's a lot of hungover heads around the place.
Yeah, we've heads everywhere. We've 3D prints. These are stuff off 3D printers and stuff like that. So we'll design these on 3D programs for films, and then we'll 3D print them. And when we're 3D printing them, that might take up to 6 days or something, but it's all concepts. So we're working with the WWETB at the moment, and we've started doing courses on that, and courses in filmmaking especially. So, and prosthetics, props, miniatures, so you can kind of see the miniatures here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're able to walk there, but yeah, there is a lot of weaponry and stuff like that as well. So yeah,
Weaponry, special effects. So where are you based, and what is the work that you do?
we're based in Wexford, and it's a WWE TV, as I was mentioning. So we're a company called Odyssey Studios. So we work currently in the film industry now, and then they've brought in people who are actually working in the industry to teach the kids. So it's very current and up-to-date technologies that we're using. So 3D scanning, all that kind of stuff as well. And we've a large robot, 7-axis robot that can carve massive sets. So they're learning all the elements of that, you know, with the stuff here, yeah.
And it's obviously eye-catching because that is what it's built for and designed
Yeah,
for.
is.
It's for
Absolutely.
human eyeballs to be
A little bit
tricked
of
and
shock
fooled.
factor as well, because if you bring on the fake heads on set, everybody is, oh, especially if it's a cast of someone's face that's on it, you know, from the cast.
Yeah.
And we'll have lots of reference photos and stuff, let's say, for their eye bags, hair, all that, so we'll make sure we match everything. So that's the thing of making sure it's 4K quality, because with cameras now they're 4K, so you have to really go high detail on the stuff. Yeah.
Certainly do, and unfortunately this is a 4K camera as well, so I've had no late nights, so apologies if you have, but what I want to know is how big this industry is in Ireland. It's bigger than ever because you have new studio being built, is that right? In
a
Wicklow,
couple
there's-
in Wexford as well.
and then we've had Game of Thrones, of course, and it seems like
Vikings.
Ireland is thriving in the film scene.
Yeah, and I was spent a lot of my time in New Zealand getting trained up over there, and then when I came back, I started running the prop shops in Ireland. So for Penny Dreadful, Into the Badlands, all these very big hyped shows. So and we have a really good crew in Ireland as well, very hard-working, dedicated, very talented crew. So even with my own crew in Odyssey, they all specialise in something, either it's prosthetics, props, modelling, sculpting, and all that, and they come from art background. So an art background sometimes can be a little bit, you know, you're not too sure what avenue to take. So this is a really good avenue with a good kind of a career in front of you as well. Yeah, yeah.
Why are you here for this event at World Skills?
We're here with, as I said, Waterford and Wexford, and it's to show people the different side of filmmaking, and I suppose it's to show that it's not just, let's say, you're going in and it's cameramen and all that, but there is other elements that are practical effects, because there's a huge amount of practical effects in films. So as I said, with the prosthetics, it's designed, and you could be an old person, we could age them to 80 years of age, or we can take somebody and we can make him to a creature. So the idea here is to show people that there's huge avenues in the practical effects industry as well. Yeah.
Okay, and you can also get yourself scanned in while
You
you're
can 3D
here.
scan the guys there, so we could 3D print you like that as well, because sometimes people don't like going under the process of, it's normally a live cast, and it can be a little bit invasive for some people. So we do the 3D scan now, and it just 3D prints it out for us. Now there's a lot of work after that, so it's a lot of hand skills. So it's teaching that as well, and it's teaching to use all the elements as well. So that's the main thing.
Okay, well, you've been very busy here over the last
Yeah,
few
we'll
days,
be
so
flat out, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's going to
Scaring people.
translate.
Yeah, it's good.
Exactly.
Well,
Halloween's
look,
just around the
I'm a
corner.
horror, all
but
about horror.
this is going to translate into a lot more people picking up the tab and
I
hopefully
think
joining.
so. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, thanks very much. Yeah.
There you have the magic of movies and how it's all made in Munster and Limerick. So big thanks to the gang for telling me that I would make a great orc off camera. So again, I'll take that as a compliment. But now we're joined by another couple of people who have joined us in our studio here. So a big hello to Paul and to Lauren, who are with the Peter McVerry Trust. So we'll talk about how this is being linked in with the competition that's happening here over these few days. But first of all, can you remind us of what the Peter McVerry Trust does?
Indeed. Thank you very much for being here, Brendan. Peter McVerry Trust is an organisation that's a national organisation supporting homeless and housing throughout the country. Our heritage, our history is in Dublin. It's been in existence now for around 40 years. Father Peter McVerry, a Jesuit priest, established a support system for young people who were homeless in the inner city of Dublin. Transcend that now to 40 years later, where we're a large organisation supporting homeless people, supporting people in housing. We look after young people in aftercare, in the care system, families and family hubs. We've also a number of preventative services where we're dealing with young people to avoid going into homelessness. So Father McVerry himself would talk about living generously and giving freely of your time and your supports and your systems. And that's something that the Trust would do quite regularly. We are committed to supporting people into homes, and out of homelessness. And my particular role within the organisation is to support that journey with a lens of training and employment, so that anyone in our services who expresses an interest in engaging with education, training or employment, then come through our programme, our services, to try and facilitate joining that path together in terms of active employment, active engagement, training and education. So being at an event like this today really strikes a lot of chords for us in terms of making those connections to all the training partners who are here, all the employment agencies who are here, but in particular we're here with a focus to support IWISH and their initiative around supporting an organisation like ourselves through a very practical, a very skills, sustainable oriented support piece that maybe Lauren might say something a little bit about.
Yeah, and Lauren, welcome as well.
Thank you.
Tell me, homelessness and Peter McVerry Trust, unfortunately that problem is just, it keeps on growing from what I understand. So what's the situation like at the moment here in Ireland?
Well, I think it's kind of well known that homelessness is unfortunately on the rise in Ireland, so it means that we're busier than we've ever been at the moment. More recently, I suppose, we've brought in a lot of projects that concern sustainability, because obviously climate change is also something that's on the rise, so it's something that we place huge importance on in the Trust. So this project incorporated into this event is really important for us because it's something that incorporates both. We're working along with IWISH and Jones Engineering and GROA as well, have donated a number of materials. So it's a project that incorporates a bathroom upgrade that will happen in one of our own properties in Peter McVerry Trust, with 2 tenants that are supported by our Housing with Support service. And it's really important to us because it incorporates the circular economy. It means that materials that are being used in this project here at WorldSkills are going to be reused in a home in Dublin to provide really meaningful support to tenants who need a more accessible bathroom. So it's really going to make a huge difference to both the people who have experienced homelessness in the past, and also show that, you know, materials at WorldSkills can be reused and can really make a difference to someone's life.
Well, yeah, and that's great. Now, I had not come across the International Water, Sanitation and Hygiene Foundation, that's IWISH that you mentioned there. So it was their idea, I guess, that kind of approached WorldSkills, and you worked together to come up with this sustainable solution to something that is obviously ongoing. So the idea of homelessness and accommodation, that, oh, well, this person's homeless, let's put them into this home, no matter what the condition is, that's not the way that it's done in 2023, thankfully. So you make sure that not only that it's a home, but also it's a suitable home. And this is where the amount of construction work comes into it as well, Paul.
And I suppose that's down to a sense of the vision that Sean in IWISH had in terms of making a practical connection to an organisation who are practically oriented. McVerry Trust is practical. Everything that we do is about building people's lives back together again. So anything that's kind of practically oriented is something that strikes a chord with us. We had the conversations with Sean in relation to building a project in our services as an initial step. So our collaboration will go much beyond today and this week into looking at training opportunities with the partner companies like Jones's in terms of apprenticeship, doing career investigation pieces with our preventative services after again today, so that IWISH and the companies in that organisation, that association, can engage in a very practical way and make a difference to, I suppose, organisations who are in the construction sector but don't have all the wherewithal and the resources to support such building projects. So this is an opportunity for IWISH and ourselves to partner in this one task, which is building a bathroom, but we will do so much more in relation to the meeting of minds around the practical support. Father McVerry was very practical 40 years ago, setting up that first hostel in the inner city of Dublin, and here we are today. I've continued that piece, that practically minded piece, engaging with ETBs, engaging with employers, so that we can secure employment. And we have been successful securing employment through retail sector, through customer service sector, through hospitality sector, all of the sectors that are deemed to be struggling with numbers and vacancies. An organisation like ourselves that wants to restart the clock. So that's been very good for us. Yep. We've also engaged in training opportunities with the ETBs across the country. Again, practically minded programs like forklift training, apprenticeship training, cybersecurity training. We've gotten people secured in training places in all of those sectors as a result of that work.
All of these skills that you can bring and apply to any job
Indeed.
anywhere in the world. Listen, it's been a pleasure
Indeed.
talking
Thank
with
you very much.
Paul and Lauren of the Peter McVerry Trust. I hope that the competition goes well and everything
Indeed.
else. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much,
and,
Brendan.
Best of luck over the next
Cheers.
couple of days. All right.
Thank you.
So that is Paul and Lauren joining us here in our studio, and of course the busyness of these few days. It's almost impossible to remember where we were earlier today, but we were indeed somewhere finding about something that could be your next career. So have a look at this. You can probably sense the tension through that camera lens that we are indeed in the competition zone and we are in the bricklaying section. Joining me here for a chat is one of the examiners of this, Ryan. It's been a tense couple of days and we are in the thick of it. So how's it been going so far?
Yeah, good. The lads they're feeling the pressure now, so that it's down to the fine details now with the lads. So they're getting on now, so they've nearly module 1 finished, and they'll be starting module 2 after dinner. So
Okay.
so they've another module to do after this, so they'll be down to the wire tomorrow.
It certainly will. So I see blocks have been laid, now it's onto the brick section. There's
Yeah.
also design in there, so you have different coloured bricks. You need to spell out the words spacing, timing, all crucial.
Yeah, no, everything, measurements, detail, level, plumb, and then there's a visual side of the modules as well, so that's just another factor for the lads to factor in when they're building, so they have to sort of try and keep everything clean and tidy and sort of want to have it looking like the drawing.
Yeah, and it being an indoor competition, you can't exactly go at it with a power hose and
No,
leave it
no.
or anything, so
So-
I'm amazed by the cleanliness, the precision that's on
Yeah,
display. So some of them are slightly ahead of the others, but I mean, the precision of the work, you have to be blown away by that level of skill.
No, they have to. Everything is. A lot of these lads haven't sort of done much of this on site or like things like that, so it's good. The lads have a good sort of. They're building to a good standard, like so, and that will obviously help them further on in their careers too, like keep the standard up and that. So.
Yeah, and well, we're talking about skills all week long and the importance of apprenticeship programs. These bricklayers, I mean, they are a hot commodity in Ireland and elsewhere. I mean, all over the world, people are looking for bricklayers. So, a brilliant career to begin.
It's a good career to get into. You can obviously move forward if you want into project management and that side of it too. But at the minute, bricklayers are one of the dozen, like you're hard to come by. So there's lots of work out there, and no matter where you go around the world, you'll always get a job as a bricklayer. So I think it's a good trade to get into. So I enjoy the detail side of it too. So there's lots of different aspects that you can say branch into. So yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah, I like your honesty that, you know, and obviously there is great money in it as well because you're in demand.
Oh yeah.
But it's an enjoyable job. Any bricklayer I've talked to, they actually do enjoy the rhythm that you'd get into on a day on site.
Oh yeah.
And it's one of those jobs that you can really find your own space and way of doing it.
Yeah, you're sort of, if you want to be on your own, you can sort of just do your own thing sort of and tip away for the day. But there is good sides, like the wet days are bad days, but you sort of, but you get the good with the bad. You obviously have the good days outside and everything, so yeah.
All right.
Good fun on site. Like.
We hear the brick saw in action there. So what are you looking for in terms of judging the best?
So the cuts you'll have with angle cuts. So I think the angle is 58 degrees on some of the cuts. So we'll check that with the tractors to make sure it's laid 58 degree cut and how well the cut is, if it's straight and if it's laid right. So there's lots of different. You'll have you'll have a detail mark and then you'll have a measurement mark. So the measurement will be obviously your angle, and then it'll be checked for 90 degrees. Then when it's built.
Okay. Well, it's all down to you, the expert.
Yeah.
And it's for us to say, well, here are all the bricklayers in Ireland in the RDS and Simmons Court. So if you want one, come up here and try and wrangle them into a job down at below at the house. Thank you very much, Ryan.
Thank you.
And there you have it, almost the end of a very, very busy day in the RDS Simmons Court here in Dublin. And we are joined by our final guest, and that is the Minister of Further and Higher Education, science and innovation, which is pretty much all under this roof today. So it's the perfect spot for you to be in, isn't it? Simon, you must be having a great time here.
Absolutely, Brendan, I really am, and a huge congratulations to WorldSkills Ireland 2023 for pulling this event off. I can't think of another opportunity in Ireland for a young person to come to one location and be able to see all of the range of opportunities that are available after school. And of course, in addition to this, we're at a competition, and we're seeing some incredibly skilled competitors demonstrating their trade and working really intensively with another day to go until the conclusion of the competition tomorrow. So a brilliant day, and some organisation to get this volume of people from right across the country in and out of the RDS today.
Yeah, and all under the one roof, and
Yeah.
all different sectors are happening, and everything is going full guns blazing. And of course, further education and training, it's a massive part of WorldSkills Ireland 2023. Today you announced a big opportunity and added opportunities for the tertiary degrees, which begun this year. So there was 800 participants. You're looking to double that for next September. So that is twice as many opportunities, and again, that feeds in to some of these programs that we're talking about here today.
Yeah, look, I was in 80 secondary schools last year, and you meet young people who are so passionate about what they want to do after school, but then they can sometimes get a bit paralysed by this national obsession with the points race. Now, for some students, you know, you do the Leaving Cert, you get the points, you go to university, and that works very well. But there's also students, in my view, who are missing out, who might make great nurses or great business people or great media people, but they're maybe not getting the points in rote learning exams. And the purpose of the national tertiary degrees now is that regardless of what points you get in the CAO, it's irrelevant to the process. You can get interviewed for your suitability for the degree, maybe you can submit a portfolio, it depends on the degree. You started in a college of further education, maybe like Kerry College, and you conclude it in a university. So it provides you with guaranteed access to a degree regardless of the points you get in the Leaving Cert.
Well, that's hopeful for students like me who enjoyed school, but maybe not a brilliant academic student, but like in everything else, and again, in a career like I am in media, difficult to get through and get into if you have a very big degree in your back pocket, might not really translate. So I'm guessing that is why you're passionate about it. It's not just about the academic students, it's about people who are good with skills, as we're here at WorldSkills.
Yeah, look, we have to stop having a kind of narrow conversation around education. This has to be about asking young people, and not so young people, what are you passionate about? What makes it easier to drag yourself out of bed on a Monday morning? What difference do you want to make in the world? And then we, the education sector, have to show you different ways of getting there. For some, that'll be university. For some, it'll be an apprenticeship or a traineeship. For others, it'll be do the degree, but do it through the tertiary system. So it's to get that message out to people. Don't fall for this trap that there's just one way of succeeding or one way of doing education. That idea needs to go out with the dinosaurs, and we need to really modernise education. And that's what the tertiary degrees are about, that's what apprenticeships are about, and that's what showcases like WorldSkills Ireland 2023 are about too.
Yeah. Well, I know that it's a brand new target, and it's going to be met next September, but from 800 to 1600, I mean, looking down the line, are you hoping that this will not just be a certain amount of tertiary degrees each year? Is this something that you would like to see across the board for further education and translating into a higher education degree?
Yeah, I want this to become the new norm, that we actually don't just assess people on the basis of the points, but we assess them on the basis of their passion, their interest, their aptitude for what they want to study. Like, second level education is really important in and of itself. It shouldn't just be seen as a pathway to third level education. We have to actually recognise the value of the Leaving Cert, recognise the value of second level education, and then also recognise that there's different ways to get on to third level education. So I can assure you this is just the start. But I think it's a really important start, and huge credit has to go to ETBs, colleges, universities across the country who've really put in the hard yards in turning this from an idea into a reality. Like you say, over 800 students already putting up their hands this year and saying, I want to do my degree that way because that's what works for me.
Yeah, and speaking about how degrees will work for people, I mean, degrees will lead to jobs, and jobs will lead into different sectors. I mean, we're looking at a lot of businesses involved in the construction side of things. Obviously, housing crisis, we're in the midst of that. We're looking at solutions. More housing will be coming down the line, but in order to achieve those goals, you need the people with those skills to fill those sites to then build those houses. So this is the crucial part of building Ireland. It is building these apprenticeships.
Yeah, look, where I work in the Dáil, we talk about needing to build more houses every day, and of course we do. But if talk built houses, we'd have an oversupply. You actually need people to help build the houses. And we know, because we've done an analysis, 50,000 more people need to work in construction in Ireland by 2030 to reach the targets. Young people care so much about climate as well. 17,000 more people need to work in retrofitting to help make our homes warmer and more environmentally friendly. So these are big numbers. So if you're a young person today, or indeed the parent of a young person today, There are huge opportunities here to get a third level qualification, perhaps an apprenticeship, perhaps a traineeship, and also then get a really well paid job. And crucially for young people, I think, who want to make a positive impact in their country, help us then come and solve the two biggest challenges we face, which are housing and climate. So we need you.
Yeah, and you mentioned the amount of people that you need to work in those industries between building new houses and retrofitting. This event last year, World Skills Ireland 2022, we had 16,000 students through the doors. This year, almost double that at 30,000, had to cap the numbers because it was so popular. So for a minister, I know it's education you're involved, but you must be so encouraged by that attitude and that excitement that students have to look out for what they need from their future.
Yeah, look, I'm so motivated by it, and I pay huge credit to the teachers as well, who see these events as important enough to take a day from the school, when schools are busy, to book the bus, to sort the train, and to come to Dublin for the day and show their young people, show their students the opportunities that are available. We can talk about opportunities in a very theoretical sense, but to actually come here and be able to see in real terms what these skills look like, what these trades look like, what the options are, is powerful. And to see so many young people here today, you couldn't but be energised and hopeful.
Yeah, well, Simon, I'd like to really thank you for being here and joining us and giving us that brilliant announcement of the tertiary degrees being doubled, and obviously for joining us here on what is a very hopeful event here in World Skills Ireland 2023, and also for making me not the only person with a very sparkly, glittery outfit. Because
I was making biscuits at the tent at one of the stands over there.
Sheila down there with the glitter spray?
Yeah, she made me cover myself in glitter for a biscuit.
Suits you down to the ground. So Simon Harris, thank you so much for joining us, and that will wrap it for today. A really busy day, nicely topped off with a bit of glitter and Minister at the end of the show. So tomorrow, you never know who's going to be on the couch, and you never know what skills we're going to be catching up with. So stay tuned to World Skills, and we'll be joining you tomorrow live here from the RDS in Simmons Court in Dublin.